What's up, everybody? My name is James Barledge. I'm a 36-year-old artist from Chillicothe, Ohio, and I wanted to take a minute to kind of tell you about myself and the origins of when and how I got started painting. From the time I was 4 or 5 years old, I would sit on the floor in front of my family's TV and wait for the moment when the joy of painting would come on. I would sit there and watch Bob Ross paint his almighty mountains with his almighty palette knife on his almighty easel, giving praise to the Almighty through his art. I would sit there and grasp a hold of every word that he spoke from his mouth. I would listen to him as I would watch him bring to life a blank canvas. He would paint mountains, he would paint trees, he would paint clouds, happy little trees, happy clouds, wispy, going through the air, just pulling things to life from his imagination. It was almost divine watching him, and it truly inspired me. When I was 6 years old, my father built me an easel from wood, plywood from his job site. He constructed this thing, and it was magnificent to me. It would hold a canvas and you could beat the devil out of your paintbrush. My mom and dad bought me my first Bob Ross master set and some canvases. And I would watch Bob try to figure out how to apply the liquid white as a kid. And I would try to paint along with him. I would try to bring to life my art at a young age. Now, I really couldn't do anything with it because at the time we did not have internet. We didn't have anything. I didn't know about the books that you could buy. And even if we would have bought the books, how does a 6 or 7-year-old follow along step by step in something like that? So for a long time, my dreams of painting were put on hold. However, I did start to play instruments. I learned how to play the drums, play guitar, different things like that. So I focused my artistry elsewhere for a time. So I started smoking pot and experimenting with drugs and things like that. And when I was a teenager, I started selling pot to seniors and people at my school, people that I knew in the community. And that was enough to make enough to smoke for myself. And I worked with my dad, learned a good work ethic and basically just tried to survive. When I was 18, I started a metal band here in Chillicothe with a couple of my friends, and we saw some success with that, but it fizzled out and died because of certain members doing drugs, and I was doing drugs at the time, and that was my dream. My dream was to be an artist, to express myself, to be a rock star, and it was coming to pass. I feel like we were doing good things, but something was just totally missing in the situation. I got married at 20 years old, and by the time I was 21, my band was breaking up. We were breaking up. Our marriage did not last long whatsoever, and I was totally lonely at the time, and it really sucked. I was in a dark place. I had a hernia, and this was back in the early 2000s. I had a hernia that went undiagnosed. Doctors just started throwing me pain pills, and the pain pills eventually led to heroin, and the heroin led to what heroin leads to. Nothing. Destruction. Death, really. So at 22 years old, I found what I was looking for in life. I made the decision to make Jesus Christ my Lord and Savior. And I went from a life of sex, drugs, and rock and roll to schools of ministry and trying to retrain my thought process and the things that I was taught and stuff like that. Excuse me. And, ultimately for about the next 7 years, I was just trying to find my place in the world. So in those 7 years of me being saved, I lost a lot of people in my life, including my father. My father was a strong man, almost 6'4". In his prime, he was 235 pounds. This man looked like a bronze statue. He was just everything. He was the embodiment of masculinity and the toughest man that I know. I mean, literally tough. I've seen him smack so many people in my time. This guy, he would beat you down if you disrespected him. That was the kind of man that he was, and there wasn't anybody meaner than this dude. The only thing meaner than him was the cancer that ultimately took his life. During that time of him being diagnosed with cancer and watching the cancer spread and watching this mountain of a man just be reduced to rubble by this horrible disease, I went back to the one thing that I knew, which was drugs. He was getting prescribed what we call perk 30s, and he offered me some one day, caught me on the wrong day or the right day, whatever you want to say, and I caved, and it led to my first real relapse, and that sucked. And right around the same time, he ended up passing away. We put him in his grave, God rest his soul, and I started really doing some soul searching. I really did. And, I ended up getting straight for a little bit, met the woman who is the love of my life. And we ended up, she came in a dark time in my life, really, and shone some light on a very bad situation. We had 3 beautiful kids together. We started living life. But before the kids and all that, a few days in, I ended up losing my job. I lost my job because of the relapse. I ended up failing a drug test, and I'd worked this job since I was 19 years old. I was a union steel worker. Got laid off a few times, but, from the time I was 19 till I was 27, that's all I knew. And I got with her on a Tuesday, and on a Thursday, I ended up getting fired and let go. So, fast forward, I got a job in sales. We ended up having 3 kids together, and, trying to live the American dream. Little pink houses, white picket fences, a dog that I ultimately hate. I can't stand that dog. If you're a dog person, I don't know how you do it. If you're an animal person, I don't know how you do it. We had a dog and 2 cats, and I don't know how you guys do it, because we could not do it. But, no, we still have the dog and 2 cats. I'm just kidding. But, sales, I would do good one month. I wouldn't do good one month. It was feast and famine, and it was so inconsistent that I knew that I had to do something and change career paths. So I ended up becoming a CO for the state of Ohio, and that's where my second relapse happened. during my second relapse, I went to buy some drugs from somebody, and the feds was watching them, and wrong place, wrong time. The feds knew I was a CO, and I got roped into a drug conspiracy, federal offense, and I got sentenced to 2 years in federal prison. Beckley, West Virginia, as a matter of fact. I went to the prison camp there. And while in Beckley Federal Prison Camp, I really did some soul searching and realized what was really important in life to me. And I made myself a couple promises in there. And one of those promises was, when I get home, when I get out, when I get on the streets, I want to learn how to paint like Bob Ross, Well, I ended up getting out, going to a halfway house, found a job in Chillicothe. I was in a halfway house. I was in the Alvis house in Columbus, Ohio, driving back and forth to work in Chillicothe every day. And, from that job, we ended up finding a house. When I got released from federal prison February 5th, 2020. And I got to the halfway house, and life was starting to look up, and late February, early March of 2020, the world decided to pump the brakes for a minute because COVID-19 happened, and everybody knows what happened there. The world shut down. Ohio didn't really shut down. We shut down for a few weeks, but in that time, I was still able to work. We were able to find a house. It's the house that we still live in, where I have this wonderful studio that we're recording in right now. And I got released, man. Got released, probation, and life continued. During that time, I started watching The Joy of Painting. All the episodes were released on YouTube, and I started watching. And I actually made a little video while we were painting our house. I was joking, acting like Bob Ross, beating the devil out of the brush and stuff, and it was actually pretty cool. We got deep in it. And during that time, I started watching The Joy of Painting. All the episodes were released on YouTube, and I was getting pretty deep into that. I told you about the video and all that. And that's when I remembered, or not remembered, but that's when I committed to, I want to get the stuff. I want to learn how to do this. And we didn't receive our second or third stimulus check. Our income taxes were held up. It was just like crazy because the IRS was all backed up and stuff. But we ended up getting our second and third stimulus check and our income tax that year all at the same time. So I told my wife, I was like, listen, I know that you probably ain't gonna understand, but like, I have the urge, I gotta buy this stuff. I've got to learn how to paint like Bob Ross. And she was very understanding and very supportive in it. And I got the stuff, I got my first easel, my first palette, paint set, the whole nine, I was ready. And it was super cool because I ended up getting all that stuff on what would have been my dad's birthday on June 10th of that year. And I got all the stuff. I did my first painting, and my first painting was, horrible. like everybody, hold on. I'll go get the painting. And I'll show you. I got it right here. I got it. So, I got rid of a lot of my first paintings, but this one right here, I hope you can see it. This was the first one. This is the first one I ever did. Look at that. Look at that muddy mess. What is that? That looks like diarrhea on canvas. That looks like somebody pooped. The mountain actually looks decent for what it is. You can see the yellow shining through from the blue and the green or whatever. But yeah, that's it. No water lines. I decided there were no water lines. Those evergreens look like they're crying. And then this right here was a Bob Ross painting that I mimicked. It was about right here I realized I could do this. You know, I was like, man, I can do that. Look at that little cabin. I was so proud of this, my little hills and stuff. It was this. That's why I saved it. It was this painting. I knew that I was onto something. And then this one right here. It was my first I think it was my first black canvas actually, but it was my first original idea with the crimson and the blue. I don't even know if you can see this real good on it, but and the water lines. I put water lines. Look that reflection in that water right there. But good memories, good memories, fun memories. Those are right there. So I started painting, and you know, I as I progressed, I started watching different people on YouTube. I started watching Paint with Josh Kirkham. Shout out to my boy. If you have not watched him, go right now to YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and look up Paint with Josh, because he has some really good techniques. He explained it thoroughly, and you know, I started gaining some traction right there. And before you know it, I'm painting stuff like this, you know. Yeah, it's a commission piece for somebody right there. I got a big old tree. There's my tree. There's my grass right there. There's a cabin. That's probably out of shot, but things started clicking, and that's a toilet. That's a toilet. I don't know if you can hear that. I know you can hear that. That's a toilet. While I'm trying to film. We had this scheduled during my son's football practice, but things didn't work out like that. My family's home. My son's at practice, but the rest of them are not. And we're gonna wait for that water to shut off, and then we're gonna keep talking. We're gonna keep talking about this. You know, things started progressing. I started getting better at painting, and I wanted to start sharing my techniques and how I paint to people, to beginners, to intermediate. I don't know about advanced, because I don't know about how advanced I am, but I want to share my love of painting with people. So I was like, man, how do I start doing that? And I was trying to sell paintings on Facebook to buy the equipment that I needed to start. And a buddy that I was in prison with, I don't know if he's gonna want me to say who he was, but he and I went to church together all the time in prison and talked about the things of the Lord and all of that. And you know, he became a real good friend. And he messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, yo, fam, like, how much do you need to do what you need to do? And I was like, well, you know, in a perfect world, this, in an unperfect world, this, in a perfect world, this. And he was like, I got you, man. I was like, what? I was like, I'll send you a painting. I'll send you all the paintings. I don't care. He's like, no, I want you, this is awesome, dude. I want you to share your love of painting with the world. And I was like, man, that is awesome. So shout out to to my man, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know who you are. I love you, fam. I do. I love you. So I started going hard in the paint. James Barlage Studios, you know. I started gaining some momentum in my community, man. I sold some paintings at an art event on the streets of Chillicothe. Art on the Streets is what it was called. It was an art event. It was on the streets, so that's why it was called Art on the Streets. And we cleaned house, dude. We sold like $7 worth of paintings that night. It was awesome. Actually, the thing was awesome. And then I submitted a painting at the fair. We won blue ribbon first place, baby. We're coming for first place again next year. We're going to submit an acrylic painting. We're just going to clean house. Watch out, Ross County Fair. I'm going to take the week off. Just come out there and stare at my painting on the wall every day. But things started going good. Got the stuff to start filming. Started going hard in the paint. James Barlage Studios channel. And it's been awesome. We got like 58 whole subscribers right now. And I think my most viewed video has 74 views. So, I'd say things are getting serious. Very, very serious right now. But that's beside the point. You know, that stuff matters, but it doesn't matter. What matters is I want to teach a new generation how to paint, how to do the wet on wet technique that Bob kind of championed and pioneered the way for, him and Bill, you know. And not only that, but I really want people to see that every single person on this earth has something inside of them that God put in them that's special, that the world needs, that you are good enough, that you are loved, and not to be afraid to be 100% unapologetically you, you know, be you. If you like to paint, be that person. If you like to cook, be that person. If you like Pokemon, if Pokemon is your thing, I don't care if you're a 38-year-old grown man living in your mom's basement. Because if you like Pokemon at 38, hear that? That's my family outside. But no, seriously, like I want, be who you are. Be 100% unapologetically you, because that's who God created you to be. And I don't want that taken out of context, you know. But what I am saying is, like, it's okay to like the things you like. It's okay to be who you are, because that's awesome. If you like football, like football. If you like Christmas time, love Christmas time. You know, if you like spring or autumn, love that. Love life, live life, love life. You only get one of them, and then another one of them after that. But you only get one chance here. You got one shot, baby, like Eminem on 8 Mile. You've got to, like, do this thing. You've got to love it. And what I found, I thought my YouTube thing was going to be cooking, you know. I was going the whole chef route. I thought that I was going to do videos, teach people how to cook, which we still could. If you would like to see a video on how to cook something that's not tacos, because we're not going to give a recipe before we actually execute tacos here in Chillicothe again. But that could be something cool. But like, painting has brought me so much joy. And it came in a really crazy time in my life. So I just, I hope that I hope that you guys enjoy what I'm doing here and that you'll watch and like and subscribe and all that stuff. So I love you guys. I hope you continue watching. I hope, I don't know, this is something different. I hope you find it interesting. And I hope you guys take life and just like beat the devil out of it. So I love you guys. I really do. And we'll see you on the next one.